Thank you for joining us now. Charles Fakoha, iBrandTV, senior analyst, joins us via the telephone. Thank you for joining us and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Frank.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's good to have you again. And just a day after the election result was announced, news reaching us now is that as a result of that fallout, we're seeing the prices of premium auto spirits going up as high as 340 naira per litre as at yesterday. So how do we address this issue of scarcity? Because it's been long coming, and we've been talking about this quite a while. Even before the election, we were talking about how the government said they were going to address the issue of scarcity. But it looks like queues are back in the filling station now.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. But before I answer your question, let me just congratulate the president-elect, the president of the APC presidential candidate, Atiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Congratulations, sir. Yes, back to your question. As a responsible iBrandTV analyst, yes, this is one problem we kept talking about, the fuel scarcity and all that. Yes, there were a lot of apprehension even before the election. Now, the election result came out, and yet we don't expect the scarcity to just vanish overnight. However, Nigerians have gone through this problem, and so now that the election results are out, we are beginning to see some peace in the land. Hopefully, this is the time where NNPC now should be more resolute in terms of petroleum product distribution. We are saying that if you go to the major marketers, they are selling at a certain rate. You go to the independent marketers at a different rate. Independent marketers will tell you they are businessmen and that this is their landing cost and they cannot sell below their cost. And the NNPC or the former DPRO that is supposed to regulate these prices, we're not seeing them saying anything. And of course, we know that the PID, the PIA, as it is with me now, is still not being implemented. So my advice will be to NNPC Limited, as it is with me. Please and please make this fuel available to Nigeria so that our suffering can be reduced.
Well, we hope that perhaps the government will start doing something, with regards to the fact that now that Nigerians are back on the street after the election, some people are assuming that the marketers are hoarding these fuels so they can take advantage of Nigerians. Perhaps, like you said, we await NNPC to address that issue going forward. Let's look at some other news now. The company income tax as paid in 2022, according to report, ICT sector seems to be leading in that regards with about 131.97 billion naira of tax collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Service in the third quarter of 2022. It looks like the ICT sector seems to be the bride of the day because of potential opportunities in that sector. So what more can you tell us about this?
Yes, for me, when I saw that report from NGS, I wasn't surprised. We would have expected more because there is a lot of potential in the ICT in terms of tax collection for the government. If that sector is really regulated, given a enabling environment, we will see more and more companies coming into that space. And ICT can be applied in every facet of our life. ICT in agriculture, ICT in the finance sector, ICT in insurance, ICT in manufacturing, ICT in all the sectors of the economy. And it's only now left for the government to create an enabling platform environment for more and more of these ICT to come on board. And when they come on board, they will do enough business and of course the government will benefit at the end of the day. So my advice for the government to improve on those figures in terms of the tax that will be paid by these ICT, that is not to scuttle them, impose unnecessary tax, then create the enabling environment for more to come into the space. And when you have more of the ICT spend operating the economy, of course, that will translate to employing more youths. And when more youths are employed and engaged, of course, you will see more of taxes being paid from this ICT sector. I think ICT is the place to be in the economy.
Now, this record shows that they are doing quite well. That sector is doing quite well, and there's a lot of potential, because for a sector to pay as high as 131.97 or 17 billion naira of tax in just a quarter alone, it shows that they are doing well. But how well do you think the government is, attending to some of the needs, or will I say demands, of this sector when it comes to addressing challenges bedeviling in that sector and opening up that sector for more opportunities and market?
Yes, if you recall, I think sometime last year the president signed into the Tech Startup Act also, and you can see what that act is trying to do to see that the ICT space is really made conducive, the environment conducive for more and more to come. So, and of course, the government support for that sector. So the government has taken the right direction, the right step in the right direction, and we just need to see the implementation of that Tech Startup Act that was signed into law sometime last year, and implement it to the latter. We're going to be seeing more and more of improvement in that area. At the same time, encourage the study of science, mathematics, technology, right from our kindergarten, so that more and more youth will develop that interest. And of course, we never can tell, the next robotics, the next space explorers will be coming from that sector. So the government needs to be deliberate in terms of developing the ICT space from the kindergarten stage. I will see more of our youth getting involved in ICT.
Okay, let's get to see the next story, which talked about Nigeria's balance of trade as the country recorded about $20 million trade deficit last year. And of course, if you look at the balance of trade, when you look at the value, because it's the value between the country's export and import, so this shows that it is declining. So what do you think went wrong there? Because we have oil. In 2022, of course, we saw a bit of upbeat in the oil sector, how much was exported and how much revenue was generated as well. And if you look at this year, the prices of oil too has gone up, selling us around $85. So what hopes do you think Nigeria has in that regard? And secondly, address the issue of this trade deficit.
Yes, first of all, let me start with the issue of trade deficit. You know, as you have said in your intro, balance of the trade, is different between your export and your import. And of course, once your export is less, you are going to be in deficit. So, yes, we have been in deficit because you can see that we are not really exporting. And that is why this government that is about to round up, when it came in, they were talking about non-oil sector, because we have been depending on the oil sector and of course the gas for our export. Then we can see that with the oil theft and so many other challenges bedeviling the oil sector, we're not even meeting our quota. So the export from that sector really went down. So the only way the government can increase this our trade balance, which is surplus, is for us to look at other sectors. So the government needs to develop the non-oil sector. I know they have started, but more needs to be done to ensure that, again, it has to do with the business environment in the country. Immediately, more and more persons will be involved in business. And look at, because we have a lot of exportable programs. It's just left for us to develop it, make international standards, and begin to export. Usually, our agricultural program. We need to add value to it before exporting, for us to get that optimal value that all Nigerians want, and for us to increase our export base.
Now, talking about increasing our export base, the coming government, of course, will have a lot to do in that regard. I know quite a lot of the candidates, of course, said in their manifesto and during their campaign made promises. And of course, we now have the president-elect in waiting now to take over the helms of affairs. So when you talk about, increasing the export base, so how do you think he will respond to some of these yearnings in that particular sector? Because there's quite a lot of work to be done.
Yes, I agree with you, Frank. A lot of work needs to be done, and I know the task is enormous. And for the president-elect, we want him to hit the ground running. In fact, as early as tomorrow or even this evening, he should now begin to even have his own shadow cabinet, so that they begin to see what and what they can do. Yes, he's been tested in Lagos. He has the experience. But this is on a different scale now. We're talking of Nigeria, not Lagos State or Southwest, as the case may be. We need to look at the intellectual. We need to look at the technical. We need to look at the businessmen, no matter what region of the country they come from, and see the existing businesses that have been going on, and see how we can expand. Of course, I don't see why we cannot have Dangote industries. Where having is most of the products being exported to Europe and the Americas. Look at other existing businesses. See how we can meet international standards in terms of our export.
Okay.
And the president-elect has to do this. He doesn't need to look at the Pakistan, whether you are in this party or that party. He has become the father of the nation, and we expect him to be humble in victory, because victory only comes from God. Okay.
Let's take our last story now. The Abuja-Kaduna Road. You remember sometimes that the place was, will I say, shut down because of the security and the kidnap that took place. But now the NRC is pledging an improved security on that route. Should we go ahead? Should we trust this promise, or will I say a pledge from NRC to trust them to provide security? And should that get into, will I say, should we open up that rail? Because I know some people say Nigerians, it's losing enough money from that particular rail. If you look at how much they've invested so far, how much the country has invested, the loan taken from China, so it's quite huge. Is it a good time? Let's start from looking at whether it's a good time to even open up that route, let alone talk about beefing up security.
Okay, well, like you have said, loan was taken for that project, and of course, we have to pay back, and of course, with interest. Yes, security is a concern, it's a challenge, but we have a new dawn now. It's renewed hope, and Nigerians are really hopeful. Yes, for me, security is more important than every other thing. Once there is security, we cannot talk of development. Yes, the government, through the Ministry of Transport, have said they are going to improve security. Again, these are going government, the deficit trust has been so high. This is the time for them to say, no, we want to really tell Nigerians who are doing our best. The implementation of that security strategy, the security architecture that they are now telling us they want to put in place, we want to see it running. We want to see it running so that Nigerians will begin to have trust in it. I know it's very difficult looking at the attacks that we have seen before, but are we sure that they are not come up again just to talk and not implementing? So I will advise the current Minister of Transport to ensure that whatever statement they have made in terms of security architecture of that train line should be put in place. People demonstrated. Let Nigeria see, do a mock attack and see how security forces will respond. Then that will begin to build trust and confidence to the average Nigerians that want to make use of that. I've made use of it before, and it's quite good.
Well, I think we should leave it at this point. Thank you so much for your time, Charles Fakroha, iBrandTV senior analyst. Thank you for sharing your thought with us.
Thank you for having me on your show, Frank.
Yeah. So to come after the break, I will turn our attention to looking at the capital market, especially the equities market. The close of trading section on Tuesday in February, the all-share index, and the market capitalization went up to about 30.4 trillion naira. Well, I think this is what we'll look at when we come back in a moment. Please stay with us.